Hey everybody, welcome back to Oceania 2084, the campaign of the game of the same name by you and Aleksey. It's a fantastic game, very heavy material. It is, in some ways, 1984 the game. It very heavily takes influence from 1984 by George Orwell. Also takes influence from a lot of other dystopian literature, things like The Handmaid's Tale, and Brave New World, also The City and the City by China Melville, and from real life, unfortunately for all of us. But it does explicitly take a lot of influence from how authoritarian regimes, autocracies of various sorts, have functioned and do function in real life. So there are elements of what we're going to dig into today that closely parallel things that are happening to real people in real life right now. If that's not what you're into watching tonight or in general, that's okay. We love you. Thank you for checking this out. There's lots of other amazing stuff on the channel, and that these wonderful people who are here with me tonight are doing. In a moment, they're going to tell you where you can find the stuff that they're doing. And I'm going to tell you where you can find some stuff that I'm doing, plus something quick about the channel. So if you don't want to watch something as heavy as this tonight, or you get through part of it and then you hit a wall and you're like, I'm done for tonight, or in general, that's okay. You can take a break and come back to it. You can skip to the next episode. These are all episodic. This is a West Marches approach, so you don't have to watch something prior to get what's going on in the next one, although you do pick up more when you do that. Take care of yourselves. We're doing this safely. We have had extensive safety conversations together. We've all played at the table in this group together a bunch before this. So there's a lot of trust built into that, and it is an ongoing process for ourselves. We have active safety tools that we're using, and we're going to be doing a de-rolling process at the end of this in order to help us manage, not mitigate, but manage bleed, which if you don't know what bleed is, that is the emotions of the game bleeding into real life, or emotions from real life bleeding into the game. That's a very simplistic version of what bleed is. There's like 13 different kinds of bleed, but this is a game that plays with that on purpose. We do that as a radical act of hope. We are engaging in telling these difficult stories because we are collectively furious in a wide variety of ways. I don't want to speak definitively for everybody, but for myself, I'll say furious at the elements in the world that are depicted in this game very effectively. It is incredibly well designed. I highly recommend you pick it up. There's a free version of it that you can get. There's going to be a link somewhere around here that you're going to be able to go to get it if you'd like. And if you want to support the creator and the illustrator, the hard copy book is really lovely. Good quality, really well illustrated. I highly recommend it. With that said, I want us to be able to spend as much time in this terrible world as we can pushing against autocracy, finding meaning and purpose in each other, in community, in the decisions that we make when we face the moral quandaries that an unfair world presents us with. And so we're going to get started. This is your content notice at the top. There will not be another one. There will also not be a break. You who are watching this can take a break, of course, whenever you'd like, and should do that. The people who are playing will also be able to do the same. If anybody ever needs to get up for any reason, I don't need to know why, although if you want to share, you're always welcome to. You can just go do that and come back, and we're going to keep going. With that said, I would love everybody at the table to please introduce yourselves, and I would like for this to go in the order that I'm seeing in front of me at the moment. Do not know if this is what it's going to look like on the overlay. So we're going to go to Steve, to Andy, and then finish up with Anna.
Hi, I'm Steve, Tall Halfling on the socials. You can find me at tallhalfling.card.co. 2 R's. The second one is for resistance. My pronouns are he, him, as are the pronouns of my character, Calahan Waters, whose job title has just been updated to corrections officer.
Nice. Andy?
Hi, my name is Andy. My pronouns are they, any. You can find me around using my linktree, Andy Sinead. I am playing John Smith, pronouns he, him, definitely real name. No other name could have ever existed. And my character is a collateral signatory, which means I sign paperwork without reading it.
I mean, I wanna make it very, very clear to the audience. How do you sign paperwork without reading it?
Yes, of course. John, at all times, 24/7, is required to wear a blindfold and is not allowed to remove it.
Anna.
Hi, everyone. I'm Anna Eliza. I use she, they pronouns, and I'm once again playing Cynthia Hillcroft, who uses she, her pronouns. You can find me across the internet at locallvluplady or over at Hilarity Save RPG. And Cynthia went from being a sort of lead secretary to now working as an auditor.
All right. And I am Danny Mendoza, he, him, Danny R Mendoza, everywhere that internet things are found. So if you just put Danny, the letter R, Mendoza into whatever, I'm there. But Blue Sky is a good place to follow me for TTRPG updates. I am Big Brother. Big Brother is not a GM. There is no GM in this game. I instead am in charge of everything bad in the world. I have full narrative control over the ministries, over the thought police, over every bad thing that happens to the characters played by these fine people here, and all of their devices. So, like I said, all the bad things in the world. Their devices are always on, and what is narratively true about them is up to me, not to them, even when they try to disconnect those devices, which they're able to do using a move in the game. That does not mean that the device is actually off. They could think it's off. I decide if it's off. And literally nothing stops me. I need this to be extremely clear because it is important to the design of the game. There is no mechanism that holds me back. It is me who decides when I think it is reasonable for that to be true and not to be true. That is deliberate. I highly recommend anybody who play this game not only consider playing as a resistance character, but also consider playing as Big Brother. It is highly instructive, if you can stomach it, with regard to understanding how systems of autocratic control function and how they create distance through dehumanization and how they make the act of engaging in these methods of control not only palatable, but as gross as this is to say, in some ways enjoyable, because it turns it into a game. The game that I play is more like a board game in some ways than just like a regular role playing game, because I have a lot of things that I roll on. These folks barely roll on anything. They don't have to roll on anything to resolve their attempt to take an action. They only roll on things to see if they're able to mask their emotions with a couple of slight edge case exceptions that we will explain as we get to it. Part of why I'm mentioning this to you all now, especially about halfway through the season, is we like to teach people how to play games while we're playing them. So as we go through stuff, we will be teaching each other how to play the game. We will be checking on rules with each other. We're going to be showing up for each other, not just me, because again, I'm not the GM, even though I am here facilitating. But everybody at the table is able to help everybody else with understanding stuff about the game as we go. The game has traditionally 6 phases: morning, work 1, lunch, work 2, leisure, and sleep. We will see how many of those we get through tonight before we end up getting to sleep. Before we get into it, there's a little bit of housekeeping I need to do to let the audience know, and more importantly, all of you here at the table know what I've already given you a copy of as well to look at. Banned words as they currently exist right now. As a reminder, these are words that if you say them, not if I say them, I can say whatever the hell I want, but if you say them in character or out of character, in the fiction or above table, that's a thought crime. And I get to roll on that. So these words are share, band, support, revise, for, and here I need to be so clear, it is the digit for and the word for spelled out FOUR as a name, but also just mentioned. Jax, which is a name, Oleana, Randy, Kadir, Thomas Waters, and Penelope Vega. Now, when it comes to all those names, it is not just the word that is banned. It is also the concept of that person, the very fact of their existence. If you admit to them ever having existed, that is a thought crime. For the city atmosphere, we rolled some stuff early on across a couple of different tables, a few different tables actually. So these are disparate elements of how some people experience the city in which you all live. You do not have to grab onto any of these. You can grab onto all of them if you want. I'm going to read them out so that if something hits for you, it hits. Violent, pungent, scared. Ecological, spacious, paranoid. Silent, empty, solemn. Grandiose, commercial, private. So, with that in mind, I also just want to remind you of the deviations that have been included, not just when you all have been present at the table, but across all tables involved in this campaign, both in the main campaign and in the duet games that are played in this same shared world. I grow vegetables at home. I have ADHD. I write poetry to remember the vaporized. I love to sing. I dance barefoot, wild spins and wilder hair drawn in by strange music. I remember the old religion. I want to open my eyes. I want to make art. I want to be able to grieve. Whistling unapproved music. I want to stop smiling and scream. I imagine a better world in games. Takes food from work to supplement the shelter. I want to listen to music. Keep deleted words, which specifically means keeps a record of words that they, in their case, helped delete. So I get to interpret what those deviations mean as Big Brother, but all of those deviations came from you and your compatriots. So in some way, that defines things that the Conglomerate severely disapproves of. How is that disapproved of by the Conglomerate? It's a good question. With that in mind, it is the morning phase, and you all are in charge now. What do you want to do?
John would like to, as they're lying in bed, they listen as they do at the beginning of every morning, and they're going to hear two unsynced footsteps happening in a room over, which means both Anne and Antonio are home. And John is going to sit up from the bed, make their way to the other room, and would like to have some food with his family. Those three acts will be two notice someone's and one affection.
Do you have any stress?
Yes. So I will roll the d10.
For each act, please.
Yes. 5. 5 minus 1. And 5 again.
Okay, perfect. So there are two of you. Two trusted characters have been introduced. Andy, can you let them know a little bit about the two trusted characters so they can decide who wants to play who?
Yes. So Anne Smith, or Maria de Luna, is John's spouse. They are 54 years old, and they are also a bureaucrat. Antonio Smith is John's son, who is 27 years old and also a bureaucrat. All three of us work in the same office that John works at, though importantly, John is the only one who is a collateral signatory. The other two have different jobs.
I'll grab Anne. Is there anything specific about her personality type that I should know?
John and Anne, probably rare for the world that we live in, were very conversational in their decision making. It was the two of them that decided for John to take on the job as a collateral signatory, so that we could have Antonio. That happened over. It would be 17 years ago. I believe that's right. Yes. So that is how long the two of them have been married. Personality-wise, we used to talk a lot. We haven't spoken as much recently.
And
Hank-
same question for Antonio.
For Antonio, there, John has been present there so far. Throughout like Antonio's life, John has been fairly methodical in their interactions. There were many moments where John will do something that feels strange, but I think Antonio's probably gotten used to that by now. But there is a slight trepidation on how to speak to their father. It's very much the feeling of, I know this person my entire life, but I don't know who this person is.
Okay. Speaking of which, sorry, and I'll dive in just a second. What does Antonio call his father? Is this a father, a dad, a papa?
Antonio calls John John.
Because okay. I'm glad I asked then.
that is the word deemed appropriate by the office.
All right.
Yeah. John is going to sit down as the other two stumble and is going to hear the clink of a bowl across the table, a clink of another bowl beside them, and before hearing the clink of one in front of them, John is going to place their hand over where that area is and sort of speak out loud to the room. We are currently in a ration. Please, I would like the two of you to eat, but spare me my portion, at least for today.
Are you sure?
Yes. I will be returning a third of what we have purchased, as was instructed to me by an audit a few days earlier.
All right. Whatever you deem appropriate to do. And I think you feel on your shoulder not a squeeze, but a very light, brief touch of Anne's hand. Not in a reassuring way, but in an affirmative way. She pulls away. And John wouldn't be able to see this, but she nods to Antonio and his bowl to say, it's okay.
Antonio is kind of stewing a little bit. You raised me better than that. And you hear a bowl slide a little bit closer and the clank of two spoons in the same vessel.
I would urge you to move quickly. Something was removed from our front door. I will need to deal with that in order to find my way home later, but I would not like the two of you to be late to work. But Antonio will notice that John will eat alongside him, though will also particularly notice that on one hand that is on the table, anytime there is a clink of a spoon in front of them where presumably Anne is sitting, John will tap their pinky on the table. And anytime there is a clink of the spoon from Antonio's side, John will tap their ring finger on the table, and only after tapping their ring finger twice will they take something from the bowl.
Would you like for me to wait for you after I finish work today and we can come home together?
I don't think John answers, but I think Anne knows well enough how badly he wants to say yes, and the fact that he wouldn't lie by saying no.
She, of course, John can't see her face, but she looks down to her bowl before looking toward him again and says, I'll wait in the courtyard and I'll catch you before we leave.
Good morning from Mini Plenty! All of your devices turn on. We have great news, citizens. Today is another prosperous day. Today, Big Brother has delivered unto us a spectacular boon. We are up, up, up! Our numbers are higher than ever. We have had a beautiful quarterly return, and in order to ensure that next quarter is even better than this quarter has been, we are going to do our part, Patriots. We are going to be cutting back. There will be a gas ration. That's right. There will be a gas and, in relation to that, electricity ration. So, all private vehicles will require special dispensation for use. Fill out the appropriate paperwork if you feel that you deserve to make use of a private vehicle, while the rest of the patriots around you do not. Have a great day.
Is John the type to use public transportation? Do they live close enough to be able to walk?
John, right now, a thing that is sort of noticeable to both Antonio and Anne is John is staying much later than he normally would. Very often he would have left by now because it takes him a while to make it to where the public transportation area is. Navigating is somewhat difficult when all of the houses are the same.
Also, above table facilitation thing, if you look at the ration section on page 3 of the handouts, remind me, John is bureaucrat level 1. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Would not have access to a private vehicle unless he got a dispensation from a conglomerate official who has that act or is committing a thought crime, because private vehicles are reserved for trust level 4 and above.
So it would have to be public transportation.
Specifically, to use the nomenclature of the game, you would have access to both work transport and non-work transport. So there can be work transport that would take you directly to work in a dedicated fashion. There can also be non-work transport that would be public in nature that you would be able to utilize at your level.
So then the private vehicle thing for this, just for clarification's sake, the private vehicle thing for this household in particular, it seems like they would be more on the clearance level to be taking public transportation and in their normal day to day anyway.
Yeah, actually, the depending on the level of prole that, yeah, I mean, for Antonio and Anne, they're both bureaucrats. Yes, they would all be able to take public transportation for personal and private reasons, as well as for work reasons. Wherever, just to clarify here, looking at all of your trusted characters, Andy, whatever is going on with Billy and Marcella, since they're proles, if they were pro level 2, they'd be able to do the private public transpo. If not, the only transportation at pro level 1 that you can use is for work.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, John, if you don't hurry, you'll end up being late. I should leave as well, but I'll see you this evening.
I will see both of you then as well. I will clean up. The two of you should head to work.
And I think with that, you hear the light clinking of Anne picking up her and Antonia's dishes before saying, "Are you finished? Or do you need more time?"
I am done, and John will turn to where Antonio is to sort of listen to see how he's doing.
He's a little bit quiet, but he's gonna put a hand on your shoulder and just give it a squeeze.
And John, you hear another light clink closer to you as Anne picks up your bowl as well and takes them to the kitchen to wash them before leaving.
As soon as the two have left, I think the last part of the affection that John is going to do is John is going to focus on the feeling of both of their hands on his shoulders and note how that has changed. If Anne's grip has weakened over the years or not. If John's hand has grown any. I know he's beyond the age of that, but still, I think it's a habit for John to check.
For that, you're going to need to do a value test. I'm thinking that family first fits. How do you
Yes.
feel?
I agree.
Is family first good or bad for John?
It is good.
Okay, so you're going to need to roll over sadness or apathy. Which one?
Okay. I will choose apathy.
Which is at what for you right now?
It is at a 2.
Okay, go for it.
That's a 5.
Okay, so you succeeded, which means that you effectively were able to get this without having a bad outcome. You gain 2 love from that, and you also have to pop up for that success on apathy, guilt, or despair by 1. Which one are you going to pop up?
Apathy, guilt, or despair.
Just guilt or despair, because those are the shadow emotions for apathy. So since
Okay.
you succeeded on an apathy roll, you have to increase one of the shadow emotions.
Okay. I'll increase guilt by 1.
Okay. What does that take guilt to?
That takes it to a 5.
Okay. Copy that. All right. And that is your morning. I will say, I think I'm going to call one more value test on you, largely because of all of that clinking and because of how clearly, deeply you love your family. Selflessness. Never put yourself before the conglomerate. Is that good or bad for John?
It is good.
Okay. So please roll over despair or apathy.
That is a 3, which is not over where my despair is at.
Would you want to take stress to succeed, or instead fail, which would allow you to, instead of increasing one of the shadow emotions, you can decrease the value of one of any emotion that you choose, and you will have to have an emotional outburst from specifically, you were rolling against despair, right? So one related to despair, and I could read out to you what the options are for that.
I think I'll take the emotional outburst.
Okay, which emotion would you like to lower for failing that roll?
I would like to lower my anger.
Okay, down to what?
1.
Oh, very glad I asked. So you took your anger down to 1. You get a happy memory. So you're able to add a happy memory related to anger. Let me know what it is. It should be related to this moment in some fashion, but it does not have to be derived from this moment. It can be a memory that comes up while you're in this moment, right? And your anger will reset to 3.
Okay.
But now with that happy memory, what that does for you is you have it connected to anger. If you roll against anger and you need to roll over on the test and you instead hit that number, you can trigger this happy memory one time and decrease your anger by 1 with the triggering of it, turning that failure into a success without having to spend stress to do that. Despair. Your options are you fall silent, you withdraw and fall silent and passive, unable to act. This effect lasts for the current scene. Sobbing, you start sobbing, will be heard by nearby beings. Or carelessness, you stop caring about consequences. The effect lasts for the current scene.
I think it's sobbing.
Okay.
I think seeing my son reach out the way that he did and seeing Anne reach out the way that she did, I think John so badly just wants to be able to share how much he cares.
Okay. And what do you think that happy memory is connected to anger in this moment?
I think it is the first year of when John started his work as a collateral signatory. Anne and John got the one thing they could have wanted, and John was desperately trying to make his way through a hospital that he couldn't navigate yet. And I think before it was too late, and he doesn't know why he knows the direction he went was right. He doesn't know why that cry, that new cry from a voice that hasn't existed before, rang something so familiar. He doesn't know why, but he followed that and he was there.
I love that. Please write something that causes you to be able to pull up that memory onto your sheet. Note that it's related to anger. And thank you very much. That was your morning. Who would like to go next?
I can jump in to Cynthia's morning.
Sure.
Cynthia, her morning routine is pretty typical, though now it's a bit different with the added stress of a new job. But she feels a bit more comfortable than she did on her first day, where she woke up excruciatingly early, barely having slept the night before, to try and make herself presentable. Now, or so she hopes, it's just another day at the office, easing into things, but still being the diligent worker she is. She gets out of bed just before the sun begins to break, and she dresses herself, she fixes her hair, and as she goes into the front room of her living area, she moves over to the window to look to see if Harold really is just out there all the time, because she doesn't really, like, seriously, he's just going to be there all the time. So she checks.
So here's the fun thing about this game.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have any control over that.
Yeah.
You do.
I guess this would count as like noticing somebody, right?
If
Yeah.
you want him to be there. If you don't notice him, he's not there.
Yeah, I think she'll use the notice someone act to look out her like front room window. I don't imagine it's like a large window. Even though she and her husband Howard live in bureaucrat housing, I don't imagine it's like a massive, spectacular window. I think it's pretty modest. And she, like, as she's like getting water into the coffee pot and like starting hitting the button to start it, she like looks out the window to see if like that's real, like he was like to see if he was telling the truth.
And what was he? Is he out there? Did you see him?
I think so. I think he's out there. I think he was being for real about
All right.
being a constant watcher.
How much stress you got?
Right now, I have no stress.
Hey, that's
I did a
beautiful.
lot of winding down in the last session.
That's right, you did. All right, so yeah, who wants to pick up Harold?
I'll grab it. He's leaning against a tree, munching on a. In my head, it's a donut. It's whatever the appropriate thing would be, and kind of gives you a nod.
She does like a speculative half wave where she's like, "Oh yeah, that's for real." Okay. She goes back to the coffee pot, and I will also notice Howard as we get ready for the morning. Just because the two of them have been having some conversations about things that they have to do now that Cynthia has been promoted. Namely, I think the big elephant in the room, so to speak, or the looming conversation is that when Cynthia was given this promotion that she so desperately believed that she wanted, it was asked of her that she mend her lack of family values. And she and Howard have been having this like open-ended conversation of we should really look into adoption if we're going to have children, which is something that they haven't actually made any headway on yet. So I think before she gets ready to leave for work for the morning, she would notice Howard also getting ready for work and try to strike up that conversation.
I think. Oh, could I have like a little reminder of what Howard is like?
Yeah, the Howard situation has been interesting because Cynthia for sure wanted to leave him when he was first introduced. And I think there's still a part of her that does, but they've been making some efforts to mend what is broken about their relationship. And in the conversations that they have had so far, Cynthia and Howard were able to reminisce on the first time that they met. They met in a coffee shop. At the time, Cynthia was still working her way up, so to speak. Howard was already a bureaucrat, and she laughed at him because he tripped over himself while picking up his order, which was the first time that they ever met. And in the way that the conglomerate functions, while their relationship began with romance, friendship, stable camaraderie, it was deteriorated over time. Since then, especially since Cynthia has been promoted to a CO, their conversations have been much more amicable. Howard has been a little bit more open to just having having a healthy dialogue and trying to mend things. He even brought Cynthia flowers to try and make things work. So it's in a fragile state, their marriage, but it's clear that there's at least some effort being put in.
Okay. Then I think you're going to see Howard scrolling on their device, walk up to the coffee maker that you started, grab a mug, and as soon as it finishes, pour himself one and then put it back. Take a sip of it, pause, and then pull out a second mug to pour yours.
Good morning to you too.
Good morning, Cynthia.
He really is out there. He didn't leave.
All right. I suppose that's okay.
When he said that it was his job to constantly be watching and, she throws up air quotes, protecting, I didn't believe him. But he's still out there. Do you have time after work today?
I do. I suppose I do. Yes.
I know that we're going to try and look into some different facilities for adoption yesterday, and time got away from me, and I apologize for that. So I was thinking maybe today after work, if you're finished up with your project I know that you were working on, we could look. Maybe during my lunch break, I could look into some different social workers we could try to connect with.
You hear a sound in your walls,
What kind of a sound?
like a little scratching sound.
Howard is going to put down the mug and sort of very slowly approach where the sound came from, kind of raising a hand to where Cynthia is.
Scratch, scratch.
Do we have mice?
I don't know.
Ding dong.
Cynthia sort of jumps, and her fingertips shoot to her temples for a second, and she's like, "Oh God, okay." And she'll take a few steps over to the door, and open it. Hello?
Hello. Are you Cynthia Hillcroft?
Yes.
It is good to meet you. Amanda sticks out her hand to shake your hand.
Cynthia, I think as the hand approaches her, Cynthia takes a short step back. Nice to meet you as well. And very carefully holds out her hand to shake.
Vigorously shakes your hand, says, I should revise my approach. I'm sorry. I should share with you. I'm here to support you. I feel so silly. This is the fourth house I've gone to. Could you imagine going to 4 houses in a row this morning, trying to find you where you are? And here you were the whole time. I've been assigned to you. You are a conglomerate official now. You can't be living like this. This is no life for a person of your station. So we, and here, just to be very clear about what I'm doing, I took a reaction to introduce a stranger. I am now introducing another 25 strangers to the scene. They
My
are
God.
flooding. They are flooding your house and your property in general, and saying we are going to assess your property significantly, substantially, so that we can see if it is going to be fixable. It looks to me like a little bit of a fixer-upper, but hey, Conglomerate can do anything, right? So we are going to do what we can to not make you move and make this place a place that you can be proud of living at as a Conglomerate official. What do you say about that?
Cynthia looks at Howard like,
I think you see Howard as people have flooded into our home. Howard has went to go save your coffee mug as well as his, and is sort of approaching you cautiously to hand you yours before the people take it for assessment.
I think mentally, Cynthia's prole comes out a bit because she did not grow up in an environment like this. So even though she's been a bureaucrat and has been married to a bureaucrat for a few years, some of these things that happen are just fish out of water scenarios for her. I yes, that is acceptable.
I think to throw Cynthia a bit of a bone, Howard is going to sort of raise their mug to their mouth and sort of speak out, attempting a casual tone as best as he can, and is going to say, Cynthia, as the conglomerate official of our family, what you say goes.
She gives Howard a quick little kick in the ankle with her heel.
So Amanda does not break eye contact with you, Cynthia, as she just smiles wider and says, leans in, are you getting the support that you need from your security? I just walked up here. Nobody tried to stop me or checked my papers. Are you feeling good about the support that you're getting?
Oh, yes. He actually yesterday evening when I came home from work, he went out of his way to fix all of the locks on my windows.
So all of the locks on the windows were broken?
Not
Before that?
necessarily. He just came in and assessed that they were secure.
So
and then repaired the ones that were not. Not that they were.
So they weren't all broken, but some of them were broken.
They might have been.
I know you're a new conglomerate official, and I hope that you take this in the manner that I intend it, but you should be precise with your language. You first said that everyone, all of those windows was broken, and then you said that they weren't all broken, but some were broken, and now you seem to be hedging about whether or not they're broken, and it's hard for me to know how many of them he fixed, how many were broken, and who might
I think
be
we might
at
have
fault.
mice.
And did the mice break your windows?
I don't know. They're in the walls.
Would you like us to break your walls to see if you have mice?
Not necessarily, but you are performing an assessment, correct?
Yes, and we are here at your service. So if you would like to direct us to attend to mice, we can attend to mice, and we will put that down in our records.
If there are mice, then they should be dealt with. And I think Cynthia moves over to the window and she says, Harold.
Okay, so both table. I was trying not to interrupt, but there was something that happened before this lot got here. From the stranger point of view, any input about how exactly that went?
Sorry, which thing specifically are we talking about? To make sure I'm not missing.
26 people. Well, one person floating up to the house, and then 25 more floating in. While Harold's supposed to be keeping people safe.
It is fully up to you where Harold was. Since we've now reached the point in the narrative where they came in and Harold had not stopped them, my best recommendation, although this is in your control, I guess together with mine, because it does have to do with the strangers, but whatever Harold may have been doing could have been to secure the property. Perhaps Harold was simply not securing the property in the front. I will also say, from a perspective of what had been established when Harold was still a stranger, Harold did mention that somebody else takes over for Harold while Harold sleeps, and then Harold is there. Now, Harold was noticed out the window, so Harold can't be asleep now. But what I am saying is the person who took over while Harold was asleep may be awake. Maybe there is more of a team involved than just Harold. And I'm happy to participate in that by introducing another stranger who is a member of Harold's security team. I'm not saying that's the entirety of the security team. I'm saying that at the moment, I am taking a free reaction, which I can do at any time in reaction to what you all are doing, to introduce another stranger who is another rehabilitation specialist assigned to this beat. Not the primary for Cynthia, because that is Harold, but in support of Harold.
I think when you look out the window, you're gonna have to help me out here just a little bit. because I know that paper is a controlled substance in this world. But what I see in my head is Harold absolutely fuming while he's staring at whatever kind of paperwork he was presented when these people arrived, whatever form that takes. That's not actually paper.
Well, there can be. So, bureaucrat on up is allowed to have paper notebooks. There's not a lot of paper. I will say, typically, though, for this, they would have, on devices. So, what would happen is they will take out a pad. They're going to send you the paperwork digitally over to your devices. You're going to receive it that way. And when that happens, Cynthia, you're going to be CC'd as well. So, you're going to receive that paperwork on your device as well. Okay. And let's say that's happening while Amanda is talking shit about Harold.
Yeah, he's fuming and then scrolling through pages of legal gobbledygook.
Yeah.
Yes. So it seems that your team is keeping my security occupied. This is fine.
So did they only give you the one rehabilitation specialist?
He's the only one I've met so far.
Understood. And you're fine with not knowing what the level of security is that you're provided to protect you and your family against these horrifying Eurasian terrorists that threaten our lives every day?
Harold is delightful and is doing a wonderful job. I am also adjusting to this new position, and Harold has been a beacon of guidance in settling in over the last 24 hours.
Surely you are not suggesting that the Conglomerate would make a mistake in their assignment, now would you?
No, I don't think that the Conglomerate is capable of making mistakes, but we are fallible creatures, and it might be a good idea for you to know who's working for you. One woman's advice. And at the end of that sentence is when the morning news breaks in for all of you. It is the same morning news that I read out before.
That applies to me, I presume. Okay. Well, I suppose you all will continue this assessment while we are away to work?
Yes, with your permission, of course. The paperwork is all in your files.
Yes. I think Cynthia picks up her little pad that she has now and looks through it. Is there anything, if I may ask, Danny, is there anything in this paperwork that sticks out?
Well, here's a question. You've used 2 acts so far. I don't think you've used your 3rd act this morning. So are you using an act to determine that?
See, what's tricky is that Cynthia really wants to get out of the situation right now. So I'm heavily debating if she's just going to leave so she can figure out, because I think in Cynthia's heart, she's like, oh, well, I don't want to go through the trouble of filling out paperwork to use the private vehicle. Like, I don't really need to do that. So I can just take public transportation. So I think there's a piece of her brain that is like, I should leave a little bit earlier than I normally would so I can get to work at a reasonable time. But there's also a piece of her that is deeply uncomfortable by this Amanda woman. So I think she picks up her pad for a second. Her mouth straightens into this thin line. And she looks to her husband, Howard, and she says, I think it's probably fine.
Whatever you say goes.
A true patriot. You're a lucky woman.
Yes, you may continue your assessment. That is fine.
Thank you. And they push past you around into your home and fully are ransacking your house.
Of course. Okay. Well, not the first time it's happened. All right. Howard, I am off to work. I'm going to try and figure out this transportation scenario. Have a good day. I'll see you this evening.
I will see you.
Sorry, go ahead, please, and then I'll.
I will see you this evening. Surely before you head off to work, I assume that you would like me to go fetch your shoes before they reach your room.
Cynthia kind of grins a little bit, and she said that would be preferred. And on my lunch break today, I'll try to look into some social workers that maybe we can reach out to.
All right. And Howard will go to fetch Cynthia's shoes. I think Cynthia will notice as Howard leaves that on the device that he was scrolling at, he was looking at precisely what you are saying we should look at, and has not had a chance to sort of bring that up.
Cynthia pinches the bridge of her nose, and with everything settled, she will head down to have a quick chat with Harold about like, hey, we're doing public transportation today.
Harold, you get a device notification that says that there is not security clearance for conglomerate officials to ride on public transportation because there is a terrorist threat level active that makes that unacceptable.
I think, like, Cynthia's headed downstairs, right? She's got all of her stuff together. And before you even have a chance to talk, she's like, hey, I don't really think it's necessary for me to have to fill out paperwork to use the private vehicle. Let's just take the train or something.
I'm so sorry about all this. They pulled rank. I'm sure you understand. He grumbles about the imprecision of somebody who couldn't even get the house right. Somehow his ears burned when he was being badmouthed. I've been reminded. He flashes his device that security precautions being what they are. Someone of your rank probably should not be using public transport where you don't know who else is on board. It's of course not my decision, but those are the rules and the safety concerns. So
right. Okay. Cynthia will sort of lean against the car for a moment and start vigorously scrolling through her own device to see if there's some digital DocuSign paperwork to be able to use the private transportation to get to work. And I think that would be maybe an undefined act.
Yes, which also means you will be out of acts for the morning, so you'd have to actually go to work afterwards. That is an undefined act, yeah, to be able to fill out that paperwork. I suppose, actually, if we want to look at it another way, and this becomes more your decision than mine, but from a facilitation perspective, you could also arguably search for something.
Oh, okay.
And I would say that to find the exact paperwork you need would be see, here's where Danny fights with Big Brother, because Danny wants to be nice, and I'm not supposed to do that. So to get the exact paperwork that you need, it's a maybe. It's a D12.
Okay. 3?
So here's the good news. The good news is that with a 2 or a 3, you find something that might be converted into what you were searching for. The bad news is that to get exactly what you were searching for, you needed a 1. So you did find something that you could use to get the paperwork that you need, but it is
Okay.
not the paperwork that you need. So entering into the next phase, your work period, you could follow that up with searching for something again. And I'm going to say that at this point, it will be possible rather than maybe for you to try to get that paperwork. You can keep doing that as long as you want in order to try to get that paperwork. It'll be during work time.
Yeah.
Which you already have to travel during anyway. But that is otherwise your morning. Calahan, what's going on with your morning?
So another night without very, very much restful sleep. There is a blissful moment where he wakes up and he fervently hopes that the note he was left was just part of a dream, but it wasn't. He's gonna go somewhere. Namely, he's going to see Mama Barb, because even he knows this is not a conversation you have over the phone.
Okay. So you have control. Wait a minute. No, you don't. I have control over where Mama Barb lives because Mama Barb's a prole.
We have already established, though, that she works at essentially a soup kitchen kind of place.
Sure. Perfect. Are you going to there to see her?
I think that's where he knows to find her in the morning.
Perfect. All right. So where's your stress at?
Stress 1.
Okay, so you don't have to roll anything for that. You can just describe going over to her, where she works, where she volunteers, however that functions, at the soup kitchen. And you have to notice someone as well, so you'd be able to notice her. And who would like to play her?
I can. What do I need to know about Mama Barb?
We've only met her once, but let me put it this way. Adi is really good at playing the guilt card, and was playing it secondhand. She was at the time very upset that Calahan hadn't called for her birthday. They seem to have reached a détente when we left that conversation. I'm not sure if he has been here before. Certainly not someplace that he's been many times. She's 48. She's a Prole 2. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's early morning. So I think whenever you'd come around, you're going to the house, correct?
I think I'm going to the soup kitchen just because that's where she usually is at breakfast time. Even though everybody else does home and then work, somebody's got to feed.
Somebody's got to do, yeah.
Yeah.
I think as you get there, it's still early enough that you find her doing some prep work. So opening packages of rations that they're allowed to have, measuring out portion sizes. She almost doesn't even see you come in at first. Before finally she looks up once, looks down again, realizes that it's you, looks up again and says, "Oh, Calahan, good morning."
And he kind of his mouth is working. He's trying. He's not coming up with words. Something is clearly very, very wrong.
Is everything okay? Do you need to sit down? And she puts the packages that she was opening and measuring down for a moment, and drags over a plastic chair.
And he's going to show her the note that somebody left for him last night. I don't even know what it's about.
What is the note?
I'm trying to think how to describe this without referencing something that I can't reference. It's a childhood photo of the family with a hole cut out of it.
She stares at it for longer than she should. And blinks a few times before looking at you dead in the eyes, not breaking eye contact, not flinching. And she says, "Well, there's protocol for things that need to be followed for situations like this, right?"
He is not holding her eyes. He is broken.
"Calahan, my son." And she takes one of your hands and wraps it in both of hers. There's bits of flour that clings to your skin as she squeezes you. Something like that could get you in trouble to have on your person, couldn't it? Even with your job?
You had to know.
I love you. And I want you to be safe, no matter what. No matter what.
I don't know if that's possible.
I need to call a value test here. Good think, please.
Yep. That's a good.
And as a reminder above table, I'm not a GM, so in this situation, I'm not the only one who can call value tests. You can call them on yourselves. You can call them on each other whenever you think that they are appropriate.
Okay, this is fun. So good think is a good value. It means I need to roll above either guilt or sadness, which are both 5.
So which one feels like it fits more, guilt or sadness?
I think guilt.
Go ahead and roll 1d6.
Okay. Way to go, Calahan. Now that is a 6.
Okay.
How was I expecting?
The dice tell a story. So are you going to bring up anger or fear?
Either one could make a whole lot of sense, but I think fear is more, which makes it a 6, which means I will have a traumatic memory, and then it will reset to 3. Correct?
And what's yes, correct. What's the traumatic memory? Connected to fear.
What
Well,
would that?
we've met Mama Barb. You once had a dad. And I think it makes a whole lot of sense that this moment is reminding him of when he no longer ever had.
Yeah. Please write that down. Note that it is in relation to fear. Was there? So you did a go somewhere. In that interaction with Mama Barb, is that a deep connection?
I think so.
I think that it is.
Yeah, me too.
I mean,
Yeah.
if you wanted, if that's the act you're taking, I also above table vote. I do think you established and since we all seem to think so, you can take a hope for that as long as. But as your second act of the morning, you have one left, and as this memory of Calahan's father, who never was, wafts through his brain in the wake of telling his mother that her son and his brother now also never existed. That is when the morning news that I read earlier kicked up, blared throughout the soup kitchen, most loudly actually from your devices, because most of the devices in this area are jankier. They have less quality to them. They are a little less reliable seeming, and then it quiets down. The room is very quiet in the wake of that.
I believe that's 3 actions because I went somewhere.
Oh, you noticed her. You're right. That
Mom,
is your third
and we had a
action. That you're
deep
correct.
connection.
Thank you for that. That is your third action. So that's the end of the morning phase. You are all in your work phase.
Question,
Yes.
if I can, before we move on. In the details of the announcement, basically, are you stranded wherever you happen to be, or can you go home and be stranded at home?
So specifically, what it says is, excuse me, let me get up here. Specifically, what it says is that there's a gas ration, and in relation to that, an electricity ration. So all private vehicles will require special dispensation for use. Fill out the appropriate paperwork if you feel that you deserve to make use of a private vehicle while the rest of the patriots around you do not, and have a great day.
Okay, I will ponder that for when we come back around.
All right. We are in work. Let's check in on whoever. Actually, it's not up to me. So, who wants to take us into work?
I think John would like to take 3 actions, if
Okay.
that's okay.
Yeah.
The first one would be to find something specifically to indicate again that this is the door to his home, so that you could find
Okay.
it.
Yeah. How specialized does this kind of item need to be? Tell me a little bit more about what he's trying to find, how he's trying to find it, so we could figure out what kind of dice you have to roll for this.
John never knew what was hanging from the door, just that it was there, that the shape was noticeable and familiar enough that he could find it, and that it is distinct from the other same looking doors in the area.
Okay.
So,
We'll do that, but before we get into that, because I think that's just a 1d4 then, right? Like it's very easy to find anything that you can hang there. I need the stress die for this act, please.
that's a 6.
Okay. You're all good.
The D4 is a
Uh,
3.
D4 is a 3. So you, again, as I read out before with the last of these find something or search for some things, you find something that might be converted into what you were searching for.
So I'm going, if it's allowed, I'm going to say that whatever John finds, it can't quite hang, and he has to sort of just rest it on the foot of the door.
You have full narrative control over how your acts resolve. There's no resolution mechanic outside of this is an edge case where you have to figure out if you find something or not. But within that, you determine what that means, not me.
Okay. Then John's not sure what it is, but he grabs it. It can't hang from the door, places it on the foot of the door, is going to take their second act to go to work, and is simply going to work. I'll roll de-stress for both of those.
Please and thank you.
Go somewhere is 9, and work is a 2.
Okay, great. That is your work period. Who'd like to go next?
I can hop in next because I think Cynthia's is going to be pretty quick. As we kind of established in the morning phase, Cynthia was able to find some avenue to fill out the proper paperwork to be able to use her private transportation because she is forbidden to use public transit. Do you think I should roll to search for something again, or would this lean more into an undefined act to properly
I think with
fill
what
out paperwork?
I think with what we established before, we established a situation where you have a lead on the right paperwork. So now essentially it's a nesting doll of search for some things to go through that. So you started with that D12 and hey, you got enough to find the paperwork to get you to the next place. Now that's going to be a D6, right? So if you get a 2 or a 3 on that D6, it'll take you to needing to roll again on a D4. If you get a 1 on the D6, it'll just find what you need. You got a 1?
I got a 1.
Done. All right. So you found the paperwork that you needed. You were able to fill that out. And as I recall, you don't have any stress. So it just works. You now have an appropriate dispensation. Message reaches your device, confirming that also reaches Harold, who you don't have to introduce to the scene. Harold is there already, as is Howard, as are all of the strangers who I indicated before. You're still in the same place.
People.
All of that stuff still exists. Everybody's still doing that. But yeah, you are fully able to, after having taken the time to do this at the top of your work period, you now have the paperwork necessary for for Harold to be able to drive you to work.
I think, yeah, she like fills out this. I imagine, I don't know if you guys have ever used like a DocuSign before, where she has to like tap through all of the boxes to put like her e-signature down. And after she submits it, her device makes this little like ring. And she looks over at Harold and she's like, pain in my ass. And then she gets in the car and goes to work, and we'll work for the rest of the period.
Okay. Perfect. So drives to work, goes to work. You're all done there. Calahan.
I think, yeah. I'm going to spend a hope on a class act to delegate work. You describe how your resistance character tells someone to take the workload off of someone else, including any strangers. Choose a character that is allowed to spend one future work phase on non-work acts without it being a thought crime. Can I use that on a current work phase?
Danny would love to say yes, but
Big Brother says no. Yes.
Big
Okay.
Brother says no. Also, Big Brother points out that does say you have to give it to somebody else, not yourself.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. In which case, I guess he is submitting the paperwork.
D12, please, to see if you get the right paperwork.
That's a 12.
I'm taking. Oh, that's a 12?
12, yeah.
Okay. I'm still going to say what I'm about to say, and then I'm going to say something else. I'm taking 35 reactions to introduce 35 strangers into this scene because it's a soup kitchen full of people, and I didn't do that before, so I'm just going to do it now. And there are 35 strangers in the soup kitchen where Mama Barb works. Okay. So you got a 12 on the D12, which so that everybody watching and everybody at the table knows. I'm going to read this part. If you roll the highest number available on the die you are rolling, something goes wrong. So you are found looking for this paperwork during work time, and you receive a message providing you with a citation, noting that it has now been marked in your permanent record that you did not plan appropriately for getting to work on time and in connection with the new policy in place. That you are requesting a dispensation inappropriately. That's it. That's all it says.
This kind of thing grates on Steve, but I think after the past day, I think random inscrutable bureaucracy is the first thing that feels familiar and comforting to Calahan. Okay, so He is stuck here.
One of the
No, I don't have
coworkers, one of the coworkers at one of Mama Barb's coworkers who you've known for a long time. I'm going to say their name is JC. Let's see. JC comes up to you as you've received this and puts a hand on your shoulder and says, "Hey, are you okay? It looks like something's wrong."
Well, I was kind of expecting to be able to drive back when I drove down here this morning. Apparently not.
Wait, what? Why not? Oh, because of right. You don't qualify for what they say, like a special dispensation. That doesn't seem fair, right? And I need you to take a value test,
Mhm.
and that is going to be selflessness.
Okay. Which is good, which means I need to roll above despair or apathy.
Mm-hmm.
Both of which are 3s. Can you tell me a little bit more about what the value test is? Because I'm not sure whether despair or apathy fits better.
Sure. Never put yourself before the conglomerate. This person just confronted you by saying out loud that it's not fair that you would not be able to use your own car, given the work that you do for the conglomerate.
Okay, that is a success. And I think apathy is probably, that part at least is just bureaucracy. That's just
Sure.
normal.
So if it's a success on apathy, does guilt or despair go up?
Despair.
To what?
It used to be 3.
Okay. What do you do next? What do you say to this person?
Well, there's always someone who knows a little more of the situation than we do. What may look unfair often has a reason behind it.
So you agree it looks unfair?
I don't think that's what he's saying. I think he's saying I understand why you could look at it and think it looks unfair, but it's just the way that the system works. Is that we, and especially you, don't need to know all of the reasons behind all of the rules there. They're there for
You
a
know
reason.
best, boss. Smacks you on the shoulder. I'm gonna go back to my place. Walks back over to where they work.
I guess I'm gonna see if I can find some kind of public transport that.
You receive a message stating that Conglomerate officials are not allowed on public transportation because there is a high enough threat level due to terrorist threats that is not an acceptable risk.
All right.
If Mama Barb is still present in this moment, I think she just gives your arm a solid mom squeeze. We all have tough days. Just try to keep your head on straight.
I will try. And he gives her a squeeze. And do I have that? No, I don't. All right. We haven't really talked about how big this city is. I'm guessing there's some kind of like a taxi system, or people need to get around.
Taxis that are run privately are private vehicles. Taxis that are run publicly are public transportation.
Okay.
I think he's gonna have to walk. Oh no.
Which is ultimately probably going to take him the entire work phase to get there, because I have a feeling that the soup kitchen is not anywhere close to the corporate offices.
None of us are playing proles, so none of us can decide how big the area the soup kitchen is.
Yeah.
You know who can decide that in this specific session?
Mm-hmm.
How big
I
is
think
the area?
I think Calahan really loves Mama Barb, is what I've been understanding. Am I right to understand that, Steve?
Yeah. He's not good at expressing that, but yeah.
And you see, Mama Barb can't be super nearby, super easy to reach, because if Mama Barb was really easy to reach, given how much Calahan loves her, he would have called her on her birthday. He would have gone to see her on her birthday, right?
Go on.
So you see, it's not me doing this. The story already said, your decisions already said she's not near you. You went clear across town, not just across the exceptionally vast troll quarter, but all clear to the other end of it, right at the edge of the city. And your building is way on the other side of town. So to get there, you probably need to go somewhere that you have narrative control over, outside of the prole quarters, to then get from there to work. Yeah. So a couple of acts can probably get you there from where you are in the prole quarters right now. But getting directly over there walking, not likely. Unless, of course, you decide you're just going to drive your car. It's right outside.
We work in paperwork at the office, so could you contact someone at work to file the use of your car for you?
Yeah, but I also I already filed my application, and they
That's true. Yeah, it's probably
they said no.
that's probably not a good idea.
It's marked on your record that you mismanaged that
we've
and
established
requested it.
we've established that part of the workplace that all three of our characters work at uh, have people that act as collateral for any damages done by creating such paperwork. Listen, I'm me, Andy feels bad if you were to do
Yeah.
that, but it is an option.
And unfortunately, in the shittiest way possible, Cynthia would probably be the one dealing with the fallout of this situation rather than the situation as it's unfolding.
Yeah,
So,
Would you like to put someone up for collateral? You would understand already that that is an option, given your level of clearance and your understanding of how the paperwork functions typically. That can be an undefined act for you to, or actually, I mean, you could also do it as like a text message, a voice call, an universe meeting, whatever you want to do.
I don't know about the other tables, but suddenly I feel like the actual gameplay of the phase of the day has crossed wires with the interrogation that is usually a different mechanic. I think he's going to do his best. He can't be the only person who's stranded somewhere. So he's going to do his best with combination of voice calls and universe meetings and such to get what needs to get done. And
Sure.
try and figure this out at lunch, I guess.
Okay. So you're going to use those calls to figure this out for the rest of this work period. Is that what I'm understanding?
No. He is attempting to use a combination of, in our terms, phone plus Zoom to work during his work phase, just not in person.
Understood. So you do have a remote work access through your devices. Do you go anywhere to do that?
Well, I think he's going to go and sit in his car. It may not be usable, but at least it is a private, self-contained.
Do you turn it on?
Space that that was not the intent. He's not going anywhere. He's just using it as a private space that's not the middle of somebody else's space.
So you sit in an inert, off, hot car and work. Okay. That brings us to 2 minutes hate. All of your devices turn on. Cynthia, I will remind you that you have a fully immersive experience for this in your office. It is on all of the walls, the ceiling, the floor. It's on all of your devices. Any walls that you might have that would be made of glass, any windows that you have that are made of glass, has the image on it in with some opacity, so it's still got a see-through nature to it. And you have holograms come up from the floor, fully life-size, to reflect what I'm about to describe.
and just like the day before, it makes her jump. A little.
Yeah. For John, you obviously cannot see any of this, but you have a much less fancy version of it. It is generally speaking two-dimensional, but you are surrounded by screens, and the soundscape is fairly immersive. Cynthia, you even feel like you can smell what it is to be there. Yeah. You see Big Brother come up on screen. Hello, friends. Today is a joyous day. Today is a day that reminds me of the greatness of the Conglomerate. Today is the sort of day that makes me really understand and believe even more than before. The past is harmful. It's pathological. You see, I don't want to watch you hurt yourselves by being stuck in what happened before. And I will not put up with you hurting each other. See, I promise you this. I will protect you. I'm the only one who can. Because I'm the only one who understands you. I know you. I love you. I see you. Always. And here the camera pulls back, revealing an 18-year-old kid strapped to a chair, woozy on tranquilizers. Oh, we need to teach our future a safe way to live today. I need all of you to teach this future, seated right here next to me, what happens when you disappoint your community, when you let down the people who trusted you, who love you, when you let down the Conglomerate. Why don't you tell this disappointing specimen, this subhuman piece of garbage seated on a chair they don't even deserve, what you think of the waste that came from them taking a car out on a joyride while all of us suffer for the greater good, while all of us are patriots on this day. Tell this piece of trash, and here you all hear a sound that you recognize is the speakers in your wherever you are becoming omnidirectional. So you now know that this 18-year-old kid in this chair can hear you. Not just you, everyone in the entire Conglomerate. I need you, friends, to tell this piece of trash what you think of that kind of waste. Because I'll tell you, it is an act of love for you to be honest. We want you to be honest. Tell this thing what you think of it, what it should think of itself, and help save it from the corruption that is threatening to overtake its soul. And I need all of you to give me a Conglomerate unity or loyalty test, please.
Okay, if it's bad, I have to roll under, right?
That is correct. Yeah.
Okay.
And you'll roll under for fear or anger. It's up to you which one fits best in your view for you.
Okay. And remind me what happens when the test is tied to a traumatic memory.
So that'll only come into play if you fail, and if it would help you if you failed. So with a traumatic memory, that increases the emotion by 1 point. So in your case, it would help you if you tie with the number that you need to hit. So for example, which emotion are you using here, fear or anger?
It's fear.
And what do you have in fear?
5 minus 1.
Okay. So if you rolled a 4 and that's a failure, you could trigger a traumatic memory connected to fear, and you could increase your fear to a 5. That memory is spent, so you at the level of the narrative still know it, but it doesn't have the same power for you. And at the level of the narrative, you would need to justify how thinking of that memory helps you keep it together in this moment, push through and show the face that you need to show, rather than letting an emotional outburst spill out. And then you would succeed. So you do whatever comes from succeeding. Fear would increase anger or apathy. Right.
Okay.
And that's how that would go. And then I'll explain the rest of what happens with 2 minutes hate after that. But that is how that would work. So did you roll a 4?
No, I rolled a 2, so I think I'm good.
You're good. So you're able to increase anger or apathy. Which one?
I'll increase anger by 1.
Okay. That takes it to what?
That brings it to 5 minus 1.
Okay. What about, it looked like Calahan succeeded. Is that right? What'd you bump up?
Oh boy. Right. Yeah, that makes sense. Despair.
Okay. To what?
Up to 5.
Okay. And Cynthia? Oh, you're muted.
I rolled a 6 over 3. Cynthia succeeded. I'm bumping apathy up to 6 and taking a traumatic memory, because even though she succeeded in not having an emotional outburst and in this value test, seeing someone so young, as Big Brother put it, the future of the conglomerate, on a stage like this and scrutinized for making a mistake that a child would make, because this is a child, it, in conjunction with everything that she's been having to do with this new promotion, shocks her into a state of remembering the precise reason why her and Howard's relationship began deteriorating, which is that they got into a very heated fight that never fully recovered, that they've never really touched on again, where she told him in confidence that she didn't want to raise a child with the world being what it is. And so seeing someone so young, it shocks her back to that state, back to that conversation in their home. But she succeeds.
All 3 of you did. And when a 2-minute hate conglomerate unity value test succeeds, you all lose yourselves in the rage and frustration of the crowd, finding yourselves screaming out your rage at the enemies of Big Brother. So you're all screaming out your rage at this 18-year-old woozy kid standing in front of the entire conglomerate, being yelled at, said horrible things to this person that they're hearing all at once. And you're a part of that. And in succeeding, you gave yourself over to it fervently. Does this challenge any of your values?
Yes.
Yes.
Any values that you believe it challenges, please roll a value test for now.
I think in conjunction with the memory, this will challenge Cynthia's good think.
Okay.
I think this will challenge John's personal value of tell no lies.
Go for it. Cynthia, it looks like you succeeded. What does that bump up for you?
It will bump up anger to the number I mustn't say.
All right. And Calahan?
I think good think seems like a good choice, which means I have to roll above guilt or sadness, which are both 5s. I managed this once. I'm not going to manage it again. I think this is of the 2 sadness.
Okay.
And no.
Would you like to take stress to succeed?
Yeah.
All right, bump up your stress to 2. Is that where you would be for that? Okay.
Yep.
And you succeed. So what are you going to bump up?
Oh boy. Okay, so I was sorry. I'm apathy or despair. Increasing despair to 6, resetting to 3, and I know I need a traumatic memory connected to despair.
It can be related to this moment. It doesn't have to be a memory from before, or it can be a memory from before. It could be something that this reminds you of, whatever works.
Yeah. Give me a sec to think.
Take your time. You can tell us actually while we go into our lunch phase. So that brings everybody into lunch. That fades, and you're in lunch. Go ahead.
Before that, I did fail the values test.
Oh, right. Did you want to bump it up taking stress, or did you want to have an emotional outburst?
I think the appropriate one is to have an emotional outburst.
And what was the emotion you failed on again?
Anger.
So you can lower any emotion from this failure. Which one would you like to lower?
I'd like to lower apathy to 1 and give myself another happy memory.
Connected to apathy, and you can let me know what that is once you know. In the meantime, anger. Your options for an emotional outburst are: spit it out, you swear angrily or verbally assault the others; act out, you hit or kick some nearby object or physically assault someone or something; or hold a grudge, you blame another for your problems, you choose someone to blame, your relationship with that person is damaged. Make a note of the grudge and the characters involved.
I think John is going to spit it out, and I think as we're told to sort of express anger towards this 18-year-old boy on screen, John, who cannot see the boy on screen and can only hear everything being said around him in the office, is going to suddenly spit out unknowingly in the crowd of screaming and say, "Could any of you speak to him like this?"
They are lost in the reverie of their own hate, as they do, in fact, speak to him like this. And you are not sure who hears you, and if so, what they may do with what they've heard. That is the end of lunch. You do have a happy memory. Calahan has a traumatic memory. You all are welcome to share them as soon as you know what they are. In the meantime, anything anybody wants to do in lunch?
Cynthia will take an undefined act to start looking into social workers and different adoption agencies that can be located throughout the city that they live in. I think from there, she just kind of winds down and she does her research.
Perfect. And you don't have any stress, right?
No.
Great. So that's all done. And there's no resolution mechanic, so you succeed. You find the stuff that you're looking for.
Okay.
Since you're doing that as an undefined act, if you wanted to do it as like a search for something, we could do that, but I don't think that that's necessary given what we're. If you want to get more specific than that, you're just like finding general options. I think that's fine as undefined.
Yeah.
When you get down to wanting to like, hey, I want to find the right agency for blah blah, I would say that is more of a search for something.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely.
But general options, that's fine. I don't need to spend time on that. Anybody else for lunch?
I'm probably going to have to take it several times, but using lunch to go somewhere.
Okay. That'll be, and you have to roll a 1d10 for every act you take. So I had said that you could just go somewhere twice and get your way there. Probably you got to basically get out of the space that you don't control into the space you do control, and then you're in control. So you can just go from there to the next place. Is how I worked that out in my noggin.
Okay.
So I need 2 d10s basically, and then you're at work.
Okay. That's a
And again,
3.
you're at work either way. This just determines if you fumble along the way.
That's a 3 and a 9.
Okay. Do you want to wind down as your third lunchtime activity now that you're at work, so that you can get rid of the stress that you have?
I would very much like to, but I think I'm going to use an undefined an undefined act to clean up a bit, because after walking all the way across the city, I doubt I'm.
All right. So you use an undefined act. I need a 1d10 for that as well to see if you fumble.
Yep. Really? Yes. Calahan's day finds yet another way to get worse.
All right. So you fumbled, and you're in the bathroom, maybe cleaning up. Is that a fair thing to say? It's your control, not mine.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense.
Okay. You hear a noise coming from inside of a stall, and it bursts open behind you. You see it in the mirror. So you clearly see it. It sees you. In that stall, you see someone who is recognizably a prole. Similar, reminds you of the person who punched you in the face, although it could not be that person because, as far as you know, that person never existed. And they are fully choking out someone who you recognize is a conglomerate official. They are assaulting them seemingly potentially fatally.
Okay.
Now, I need a value test, actually,
Yeah.
first, before anything that you do. To be clear, this is treasonous, what's happening in front of you. This is you. I don't need to be ambiguous about this. I'm not trying to trick you with it. The action, the kind of violence that is happening, the power disparity in the hierarchy, this is fully treasonous, regardless of context, right? Beyond that. So the value test that I'm going to call for here is conglomerate unity. Are you going to report this?
Okay. So that is a bad value, which means I need to roll under fear or anger. Yeah, it makes sense. I'm rolling against anger, and that is a 1. So that's That works.
You're going to increase guilt or sadness?
Oh, okay. They're both already at 5. I think this is guilt. Picking back up on not standing up for not standing up for myself in a similar situation.
Okay. So you need to get a traumatic memory also for guilt now, and then
Yep.
your guilt will reset to 3. When you know what that is, please let me know. That is the end of lunch for you. So if you are going to take an undefined act to report it, that'll be at the top of your work period, because that was your third act. John, what about lunch for you?
I think after the 2-minute hate period after work, John is just going to take lunch to wind down. And
Okay.
I think they're doing that by uh, gently pressing a hand on the right side of their chest and then holding the other one sort of across where their stomach would be. And this is related to the happy memory that John was brought back to during the 2-minute hate period, which is when he was finally allowed to hold Antonio in their own home. And it would be inappropriate to show too much affection to the child. But I think in one night in the darkness of that home, without saying anything out loud, just mouthing the words to a baby that could not understand it, John did say all the things they wish they could say to Antonio now when they were a baby.
Okay. How much stress did you have going into that?
2. So
So I need you to roll a d10, and then you'll take it down to 1 after that.
that is a 5, so no issues there, and I will have no stress now.
Okay. Well, you'll have 1 stress, but it won't
Nice.
make you roll a die, right? And
Yes.
you can still lower that again if you wind down like during leisure, and then go to 0 stress. Just so you know, so
Oh.
you can take it down past that last one, if you take enough of those acts, right?
Okay.
Gives you like a buffer, to be able to take a stress and not have to start rolling that die. All right, so that is work 2. I'm gonna go to Calahan last, if that's okay with everybody, because I feel like Calahan might have more to do. Are either Cynthia or John going to do anything other than work in this period?
For work 2, Cynthia's just gonna work.
Okay, and you don't have any stress, so you don't have to do anything with that. You just work. John?
I think similarly, John is just going to work.
Okay, and again, you don't have to roll any stress right now, so you're all good there. Calahan.
Okay. Tired, sweaty, frustrating day. Troll attacking an official in front of me. He does two things, one of which is probably undefined. Yells as loud as he can for help, and he's going to wade in and make the troll stop, or at least that's his intent.
So for the yelling of help, let's see over here. For the yelling of help, that can be absolutely an undefined act. You just succeed, right? So let me put it to you this way. If you want to notice someone, you can do that by yelling for help and having a rehabilitation specialist show up, right?
Yep.
If you want to get them to do what you want them to do, you can befriend them, for example, and do a value test, and then utilize that if you can add them to your trusted characters, right? At that point, and gain a love, and then they're in the control of you all, not me, right? If you want to risk it and just ask them when they're in my control if they'll help you, you can try that out. And then if you're going to do anything directly to try to engage with this, that's probably violence. I'm going to tell you right now that the person who's trying to kill this other person in front of you, that is not. They're not gonna respond to you just talking to them. Right?
Yeah. The only vocalization was a yell for help. Having having previously established that we all work in the same office building, could I notice Harold?
You can absolutely notice Harold. You're fully able to bring in a trusted character, so Harold can come into the scene. And so you don't have to befriend them. You actually can't befriend them because they're somebody else's trusted character. But you can absolutely do that. And then you do immediately have control there. So that is a more efficient way to do it. However, with that undefined act, well, actually, is the yelling out loud just the notice someone? It's the one act?
I mean, that makes sense to me. I mean, I yell, and in response to the yell, there is somebody to notice.
Okay, remind me where you're at on stress.
I'm rolling a d10.
Go for it. And then whoever wants to play Harold, once you're in the scene, you can do whatever you'd like as well.
Okay, that is a 2.
Okay, you're all good.
I think it takes a moment though to get a response. It certainly took a moment. Last time I was looking for help from Harold.
I would kind of want to see Anna play Harold.
I'm down for Anna to play Harold. I think
My
that's
boyfriend.
really exciting. Yeah.
My boyfriend. Okay.
So I think by the time Harold arrives, I think Calahan is beating the ever-loving shit out of this guy. His intent was just make them stop. I'm not entirely sure that he in this moment knows how to make himself stop.
Yeah. So to be clear, because this matters from a mechanics perspective, and I do also want the people watching this as well as everybody at the table to understand violence. Describe how your resistance character physically assaults someone. Assaulting anyone of a higher class is always a thought crime and a resistance act. Violence toward lower classes might be a thought crime. Decide the level of violence. Light violence, which is aggressive, corrective, bruising. Medium violence, brutal, severe, crippling. Maximal violence, sadistic, inhumane, deadly.
This sounds corrective to me, at least, based on your description of it.
But he did say that he doesn't think he can stop himself.
Yeah, I think he's aiming for light and ends up with medium. I don't think you accidentally end up with maximal.
Well, I think if you're asking whether or not whether or not Calahan can stop himself, that sounds like a value test of whether or not Calahan thinks might is right.
I agree with that. Yeah. There you go.
Would make sense.
It's a good call.
All right. So roll under despair or guilt. both of which I have reset. So I'm trying to roll under 3. I think he's rolling against guilt because we know that he was feeling very, very guilty about not making a previous ruffian stop.
Mm.
And that is a 1, so that's a success.
What are you going to bump up?
Anger or fear?
Which, succeeding there, what we're saying is you were able to have enough control over yourself so that this did not spill over to a higher level of violence than you intended.
I think I'm going to go with fear.
You recognize on the on the badge of the person who you just essentially saved by beating the shit out of the person who's trying to kill them, that their name is Thomas W. Doesn't have their last name fully written out, but it is Thomas W.
And they are a CO?
They are a conglomerate official, yeah.
I think as this altercation is happening, Harold rushes in and sees one, the CO on the ground getting beaten, the prole now being beaten by Calahan, and Harold recognizes Calahan pretty immediately. And I think for a flash moment, a thought crosses his mind of like, this guy keeps getting into violent situations somehow. And Harold rushes forward and firstly, very carefully peels Calahan off of this prole before putting the prole in a secure position away from the other CO that's currently on the ground. Not necessarily in a chokehold position, but certainly a corrective position that would prevent this individual from being able to lash out or continue to harm, maybe kick a little bit, but dragging him away just enough to where he can't actually harm anybody else, except Harold might retain a couple of scrapes and bruises from the person thrashing around, if they are. Harold looks down at the ground and makes eye contact with Calahan and says, "What's going on in here?"
Calahan is going to look at to the gentleman who was being attacked, who presumably knows how it started. While he's trying to get himself under control. If the CO does not volunteer information, Calahan starts trying to explain. Words are not necessarily wording very well, but person who does not belong in this building, attacking person who does. He's trying to make them stop.
The CO does look over at Calahan and say, "He's telling the truth. This filth attacked me unprovoked here in the restroom. Would you, an officer, good. Would you, rehabilitation officer, sorry, what is your name?"
My name is not important. Are you unharmed? Do I need to alert medical professionals to come to the area?
"I will be fine. I would like to get back to work. Will you take the trash out, please?"
Indeed. And you, do you require medical assistance?
I don't think so. It's not my blood.
All right.
I think with that, Harold does a once over just to make sure that both individuals are secure and safe and that he doesn't need to alert any medical personnel. For example, if maybe there's a cut or a wound that neither one of them is aware of yet due to adrenaline, before dragging this prole away.
That sounds like the end of that. Did you want to do anything else with your work period, Calahan?
Well, I think in the moment, going to help this guy up, offer him a handshake. Possibly this is a quick befriend before we're both heading back off to work. Which calls for a value test. What would it be? I think I'm going to make that value test. Might is right, because I'm basically saying, I saved your butt. You're my friend now. Which would be below despair or guilt. And that is not a success.
So would you like to take stress?
Yeah, I think he's pretty stressed out. Yeah. So that's for a success, which means something's got to increase. Sorry. Yeah, I think anger goes up, which goes up to 6, which
You're going to need to add
I am getting a lot of traumatic memories today.
So you'll be able to add a third traumatic memory. Again, let me know what it is when you have it. And if you already had 3 traumatic memories, you're going to have to displace one of them for this. You're going to have to explain how that works as well. You're welcome to share that whenever you'd like. If we don't cover it in this episode, just please help me remember the next time that you're at the table that we'll establish that for the audience. And also let me know whenever you know, even if it's between sessions. That brings us to 2-minute hate. Unless there's anything else, you're going to stop and work. And also, I need a stress die for the act you just took. Not for
okay. Is that stress die before or after?
It is before, because you did the value test during the course of taking the act. Yeah.
Oh, then I go and roll the wrong die.
It's okay.
Good grief.
Another one?
Yes.
So the other one is going to lead to the prole in front of you is black bagged. As they are taken out, you see Harold hand them over to other rehabilitation specialists. They are black bagged, and you receive notification that you are able to interpret. It is utilizing typical coded language that you actually helped develop that allows you to be notified at your clearance level that the person who you just saw assault Thomas W. never existed.
And yeah, he's working for the rest of the day, trying to.
I need
catch up.
another at the new stress level. I just need one more of those stress rolls, please.
And that was a success.
Okay. 2-minute hate. All of you are at your workstations. You are a Conglomerate official. So there's been an upgrade also, Calahan, to your setup. It is very similar to what I described that Cynthia has, in the sense that it is 7.1 surround sound, smell-o-vision kind of situation. You feel like you're there with the holograms and the screens surrounding you, and all the holograms are life-size. 5 hooded, shivering figures rise from the floorboards in chairs. And a towering, handsome visage of Big Brother steps directly into your space. Again, in the case of John, you can't see it, and it would be flat screens for you anyway. But for the other two, you see Big Brother, life-size, taller than you are, standing there in front of these 5 hooded, shivering figures in chairs that rose out of the floor, quite theatrically. Good news, everyone. The Mini Plenty celebration today continues. As we continue to celebrate our patriotic duty to ration gas and electricity, we're going to play a game. Citizen, I'm so glad to see you. I wanted to invite you to be a part of this. I want you to understand that I trust you. I want you to feel that trust. And I want you to hold it in your hearts. I want you to be lifted up with the understanding that I believe in you. I've always believed in you. I will always believe in you. As long as you don't give me a reason not to. I want you, as he draws a heavy black gun from his holster and casually aims it at you. I want you to dig into your gut, because you can trust it just like you can trust me. I want you to tell me who here, gesturing at these 5, is the worst among these offenders. Everyone here, everyone you see seated in front of you right now, has hurt you, has hurt me, has hurt the Conglomerate with their selfishness, their gross negligence, their use of private cars and other forms of wasting our precious energy that were not sanctioned. They did not fill out the appropriate paperwork. They did not get the appropriate approvals. They are stealing from you. They are hurting you. It is because of them that a medical facility will not have the energy it needs to do what it needs to do. It is because of them that the brave heroes at Minipacks will not have what they need to ensure your security. Now, we, of course, were able to be prepared for this. We expected this, and we will make sure that you are taken care of. But it is no thanks to these 5 here. Now, see, I was tempted. I was tempted to kill all of them. But today is a day of celebration. Today is a day that I want to celebrate your good judgment. So I want you to tell me, and here you hear that same noise again, that you know makes all of your speakers omnidirectional. Now, these 5 people and Big Brother can hear all of you, just as you can hear them. I want you to tell me, to tell them, tell each other, tell yourselves, who here deserves to die. And I will trust you, as I always do. Ever your humble servant here, to provide what it is you want me to do. And I need a conglomerate value or unity test, conglomerate unity test from all of you, please.
I failed.
Would you like to take stress to succeed?
No.
Okay. What did you fail on? Which emotion?
I failed on anger.
Okay. You swear angrily or verbally assault others. You hit, kick some nearby object, or physically assault someone or something, or you hold a grudge against somebody, where you damage that relationship and make a note of the grudge and the characters involved.
That little metal trash can under her desk that she kicked prior, she kicks again.
Okay.
This time, I think, in the metal. I imagine it's one of those that has almost kind of like the waffle netting to it. It leaves a tiny little dent.
Mm-hmm. Who's next?
I succeeded on fear, and I increased anger by 1 to 5.
Okay. Perfect. And Calahan.
And a fail on fear.
Would you like to take a stress to succeed? Or have an emotional outburst? Also, Cynthia, you can lower an emotion by 1, any emotion for that failure.
I lowered sadness down to 3.
Under the circumstances, I think I have an emotional outburst.
Okay. What was the emotion again? Fear, you said?
Fear, yes.
So you
yes.
So you scream out in fear, or you get tremors. You begin shaking, making fine movement impossible. The effect lasts for the current scene. Or crying. You start crying loudly, and that'll be heard by nearby beings.
Shaking makes a whole lot of sense to me.
Okay. All right. So you are shaking. Those of you who failed this, your failure was seen. You who succeeded, you lose yourself in the rage and frustration of the crowd, finding yourself screaming out your rage at the enemies of Big Brother as using the sounds of an entire nation screaming obscenities, insults, dehumanizing language at these 5 hooded people who you do not know and will never know who they are. Using the sound of it as it increases as it goes, Big Brother in turn points the gun at the head of one, then the other, then the next, then the fourth, then the fifth, firing one by one, executing them in turn as the sounds of an angry nation grow louder and louder and louder. At the end of it, Big Brother looks directly in your eyes, each of you, and says, "Conglomerate above all." Now, for you who succeeded, does this challenge any of your values?
Yes, John does not believe that might makes right, so I think it challenges that one.
All right, please go ahead and roll and let me know how it goes.
Okay, I am going to roll for guilt, which is currently at a 5. It is a bad value, so I have to roll under.
Mm-hmm.
I succeed.
Okay.
So that increases anger or fear, and I'm going to increase anger from 5 to 6 and give myself another traumatic memory.
Okay, when you know what it is, please let me know and let the audience know, either now or on the next go. You all receive a message as you complete your work period and enter leisure, directing you all to go home immediately and stay locked down at home as there is a threat of terrorist activity in relation to the gas and electricity rationing. So I would like for each of you to take the go somewhere action, and then you can take wind down if you want. If you need to roll any stress dice, please let me know. If there's anything else that you want to do at home, you can say so quickly. But there is the sense that you're supposed to be just there.
Yeah, I think with that news coming in, Cynthia would grab her government appointed herald, and she would go home immediately. Um, and I think, too, especially with her house having just been assessed by a group of strangers and waiting for Howard to come home, I think she would once again invite Harold inside, um, to just have some peace of mind.
Perfect. So we're going to say from a mechanical perspective, that is a notice someone, go somewhere, and then if you want to do anything in terms of engagement with Harold, you can. Otherwise, you're just winding down. Does that sound
I
right?
Yeah, I think it's more of a wind down situation. You know,
Okay, so if you have any stress to take down, take it down for that wind down. You didn't have any stress dice that you had to roll on anything, right? From what I
no.
remember. Great. So that is your leisure. John?
John is going to notice someone, which is Anne, so that the two of them can go somewhere, which is home, and then just take the leisure.
Take the
Sorry,
wind down
and
act.
then wind down. Yeah,
Perfect. Where's your stress at now?
it is at one.
Oh, then you don't have to roll anything, and you can get rid of that last one and go to 0 at the end of that,
Okay,
and that is the end of your leisure time.
and
Calahan. Oh, sorry. What were you going to say?
I've written down my traumatic memory for anger, which was the first time that someone, no, no one did it. No one lashed out at John for nothing that they signed, and the resulting incident resulted in Anne getting hurt and being unable to do anything about it.
Yeah. All right. And Calahan.
Yeah. Uh, yeah. Going home, and I guess one winding down. I have also gained some traumatic memories in this session, including getting stranded in the middle of nowhere, despair, and not standing up for myself when punched, which used to be guilt and has turned into anger.
Okay. Perfect. I need your two stress dice, and then you can take it down your stress by 1 at the end of that.
Either one is a 1.
Okay, and you can bring down your stress by 1, and that brings us into the sleep phase, where we handle promotions, demotions, and interrogations. So, when you get home, Cynthia, your house is upside down.
Yeah.
In your winding down, didn't sound like you necessarily cleaned it up. Is that right?
I mean, I think she would have just like made it livable, you know?
The next morning when she wakes up, it's pristine. She didn't hear anything, and it's like nothing ever happened. Everything is exactly where it was. Exactly where it was. Papers would have been exactly in the position that they were in prior. Um, Plants aren't off by an inch. Exact. Um, you have a picture of yourself with your family at home? Not out. I know you didn't have that because of Harold, but do you have one?
I think so. I think in some small photo album she keeps at her bedside table.
It's open. It's the only thing that is open. And there was a picture there of you with Margaret and Carolyn, and now it's just you. John, while you're winding down, do you say anything to your family?
I think I reach out for whoever's there. And that's it.
What do you do to say goodnight to Antonio, typically?
I think John will do the same thing that he usually does when he wakes up in the morning, when he can and when there is time. And he is just going to gently touch Antonio's face so that even if I can't see it, I know what he looks like.
Your hand hits a pillow. Calahan, when was the last time you talked to Mama Jan?
Her birthday, which I'm going to say was a few months.
You have a picture with Mama Barb and Mama Jan at home?
Yeah.
Did you look at it before you
Or
went
at least
to sleep?
I am guessing. Or at least I did. What does it look like now?
Well, did you look at it before you went to sleep?
After the day he's just had, yeah, he was looking through some old photos.
Did Mama Jan look happy?
She rarely looks happy in photos. She just doesn't like having her picture taken.
What did she look like?
Shortish hair, mostly gray. She looks more like she belongs in an office than Mama Barb does.
In the morning, she's gone from the photo. The three of you are all left with that and nothing else from this sleep phase. And that is where the day ends. To de-roll quickly, I would like for each of you to just in one sentence, and this is now, hi, I'm Danny. I'm not Big Brother anymore. I would like for each of you to say one thing that you admire about your character you'd like to take with you, and one thing that you dislike about your character that you'd like to leave behind. Just one sentence each, please, because we're a little tight on time. And then if there is anything you are burning to say, please feel free to do that now or afterwards off camera if you'd like. And if there is one accomplishment that you are really proud of this episode, of any sort. Doesn't have to be a happy thing. Doesn't even have to have been a successful thing. Just something that you're proud of. I'd want to hear it. If not, you don't have to. So, admire. You want to take with you. Dislike. You want to take. You want to leave behind. If there is anything you need to say it. And then if you want to say one thing that you're proud of, you, real human person, are proud of that you did today in this session. And then if you want to ask me anything at the end of that, you can do that. But first, I'd love to do your stuff if that's okay.
I appreciate how Cynthia is able to crack the occasional joke about her circumstances, despite constantly being terrified. I think I've said this every single session that I've played Cynthia. She is still, I think, far too comfortable benefiting from the system that she lives in, which is something I'd like to leave behind about her. Something I'm burning to say is that it's always such a pleasure to play with Evil Danny from Evil Town. And something I'm proud of this session, I think, is just showing, again, kind of back to Cynthia's character traits, staying very strong in her convictions of like, she is a shill for this government as it is set up. She's actively benefiting from it. But I think deep inside, we're slowly starting to see her boil over with feelings that she can't ignore anymore about the things that she dislikes about the system that she exists in.
Okay, who's next?
I like that Calahan was finally willing to stand up to somebody, even willing to save, protect, insert verb, somebody he didn't even know, identify himself with somebody else. He does frustrate me in his continued willingness to desperately try to play by the rules, even when he needs a good dope slap. And I think I'm going to give I'm going to take just a moment to recognize that that I stuck with what he would want to do, even knowing above table that if you drive somewhere, you're not going to be driving back, but listening to his heart instead of my brain.
I like the way that John is pulling against the chains to show in any way he can that he loves the people that he does. I hate that it seems like he's not. I hate that he hasn't risked it to let them know that in a way that they can't deny before it's too late.
Yeah.
I so badly want to say that if he is still alive and if he is still out there, that maybe John can still find him. And I think I'm proud of myself that I've been able to I think, in my own opinion, have a character that, despite themselves, and I think despite what they believe, can't help but love the people around them.
Absolutely. All right. That is all that we need for the de-rolling process. On my side, I'm gonna say it's fucking hard being Big Brother, y'all. It could be a lot of fun. It was in a way that is complicated to reckon with, especially at a table with a bunch of wonderful people who I trust and love to work with, like all of you. Thank you for that. Legitimately, not gonna lie, fucking hard to kill your kid, John. That was really, it was hard to kill everybody. It was hard to kill Mama Jan, but at least we hadn't met Mama Jan yet. Margaret Thompson, Carolyn Thompson, hard to kill your family members too, but again, had not met them yet. We met Antonio some, and fuck, did you make it heartbreaking in such a beautiful and lovely way. What you said earlier in the session about telling Antonio everything when he was a baby that you wish you could tell him now. I already knew I was going to kill him at the end of this. When you said that, boy, did that hit. Thank you all for being wonderful. Thank you all for watching this, and we will see you soon.